are going to be discussing fitness trackers and their accuracy. And what do we do if we feel like they're not accurate? So NBC News just did a little test on fitness trackers. They tested the FitBit HR, they tested a Garmin, and then they tested, I think it was a Nike one, I'm not sure. And they tested step accuracy and calorie burn accuracy. And so the Fitbit HR was the most accurate for steps, but that the Garmin, I believe, was the most accurate for calorie burn. Okay, so what does that mean to us as just the average, person who's trying to improve their health and fitness, or maybe watch their calorie intake, or possibly even watch their calorie burn? So I am a huge advocate of fitness trackers, and I'm an advocate of them for this reason. I think knowing information about what you're doing during exercise, or what you're getting out of a calorie burn, or how much movement you're getting in a day is important for you and you alone, and not in a comparison to what someone else is doing, and for you to see sort of a gauge from one day to the next how your body is responding to what it is you're personally doing. So I'm not sure if my Fitbit HR is accurate as far as scientific standards go, but I know it's accurate enough for what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. And then I use my Fitbit HR in conjunction with what I know is best practices for me and how my body is responding to whatever it is I'm doing. So I rely on the accuracy depending on what it is I'm doing every day, and the change that I'm creating for myself. And that's what I always suggest other people do as well. So I use it as sort of a self-motivator and a way to track how active I am. And I always tell the story about when I started using a Fitbit, how shocked I was at how inactive I was throughout my day. And so I really use it as a reminder just to get up and move. I'm a runner, and I definitely work out. But past that, I have a pretty sedentary life. I usually sit at a computer all day, or I'm just kind of moving around my own house. And so I don't actually get a lot of movement unless I'm watching my Fitbit and noticing that I don't have a very high step count. Now, if I were to step equally with another person throughout the day, and we both had Fitbits on, or one person had a Garmin on and I had a Fitbit on, would those numbers come in differently after an equal amount of time, an equal amount of movement? Probably. But for me, that doesn't matter, because like I said, I don't gauge my fitness tracker on what the average is or what someone else is doing. I only gauge it on what I'm doing from one day to the next, and is what I'm doing working for me. And I know if it's working for me when I see changes in my own overall physique or the way I'm feeling. So this is how I always coach women in my fitness challenge groups on how to use their Fitbit and how to get the best results from it, irregardless of whether it's accurate or not compared to like scientific standards. So I always suggest that you wear your Fitbit for like a 72-hour like continuous period of time, and that to tell how accurate it is for you and your activity and your own personal calorie burn is, I always suggest that the first 24 hours you wear your Fitbit, that you don't exercise at all, that you just sort of have a normal activity day, and then you record what your calorie burn and your movement was for that particular day, and kind of what your average heart rate was. And then the second day, I always suggest that you do some exercise and have it be like a high intensity exercise where you really try to focus on hitting your target heart rate zone, monitoring it with your tracker. After that 24-hour period, then I always say take note of your activity or your step count, take a note of what your calorie burn was, and then take a note of what your average heart rate was. And then on the third day, do a moderate type of exercise. So something that you would do like an active recovery type day, After that 24-hour period, again, track how many calories you burned, how many steps on average you took, and what your average heart rate was for that day. And then you can kind of take those three numbers and sort of average them out to what your norm is and what you want to kind of gauge your activity level and your calorie burn and your heart rate using your monitor would be for yourself. And then that way you have like a standard set of numbers that you can create as your own personal norm, which will help you create your own accuracy regardless of what your Fitbit does. Because I don't think that they're inaccurate as far as from one day to the other. They're just not scientifically accurate, like if you were to actually count steps that you were taking on a treadmill for a set amount of time, nor are they accurate as far as what your calorie burn is, because they're just not that high of a level of a monitor to be able to get a true scientific reading for you. They're just there to moderate you on like an average level. So do the 3-day kind of count for yourself. One where you have no activity, see what your average heart rate is, what your average calorie burn is, what your average activity level is. The second day, do a high intensity workout. Again, track how many calories you burned, track what your average heart rate was, and then track what your activity level was. And then on the third day, you want to do like an active recovery type workout and monitor those same 3 things. And then you kind of know what you need to shoot for when you're either working out, when you're doing an active recovery, or when you're resting. And then you always want to make sure that you're following a nutrition plan that is built around what your specific caloric needs are. So there's lots of programs out there to follow. The one that I coach women on is called the 21-Day Fix, and it is a portion controlled meal plan so that you have all the calories that you need within a range. So again, it's not completely accurate. It's not a 1,200 calorie diet. It's within a 200 calorie range. And we don't count calories, we don't weigh food. It's all just based on how many numbers of a certain container you have that are categorized by food groups. So if you have a meal plan that's separate from your calorie burn, because if we know this is not accurate scientifically with what your body is actually burning, then we want to use it as a guide. And then we want to have a separate meal plan that's set up based on what your caloric needs are. So if I have a day on my fitness tracker where I burn through like 3,000 calories, let's say, and my nutrition plan is built around a 1,500 calorie diet, I'm not going to go and eat an extra 500 calories because this said I burned an extra 500 calories. I don't use my fitness tracker in that way at all. I use it to monitor how active I am, what my heart rate is doing, and what my average calorie burn is, just so I know that I'm working out hard enough. And so this gives me a good indication of that. My nutrition is gauged completely separate and irregardless of what this is telling me. And that way I'm not overeating on something that might not be scientifically accurate. So fitness trackers are a good resource for us to use to make sure that we are like emotionally and psychologically connected to what our fitness goals are and how active of a lifestyle that we're living to make sure that we are achieving those goals. And it is also a good way to kind of monitor your heart rate so that you know that when you're working out, that you are actually working out at a level that you're going to get that nice fat burning type of workout through a certain period of time. In no way do you want to use this to justify eating extra calories. So like I said, you want to make sure you have a separate meal plan that's based on the caloric needs that you need for the goals that you're trying to achieve, and it's based on a balanced diet. And so I always suggest that you stick with a meal plan that's either portion controlled if you're not a numbers person, or if you are sort of a numbers person, then you monitor your calorie intake by using something like MyFitnessPal or something like that. But don't use this as a way to gauge how many calories you need to eat, because it won't be accurate in that way. It's not scientific. There's nothing wrong with using fitness trackers, even if they are considered inaccurate scientifically. Use them as a way to kind of remind yourself that you need to just get up and move. And I know even with the Fitbit now, they have a reminder that an alarm will go off every hour to just kind of remind you to kind of get up and just be active, especially if you have sort of a sedentary day or you have a desk job type of position. You can set your Fitbit so that it will remind you to just get up and move or stretch or whatever you need to do to get active. So as a review, these fitness trackers are not scientifically accurate. but they will give you a nice gauge and a nice base point for what it is that you need to do to help yourself reach your fitness goals. Use it to monitor your heart rate, get to know your own body and what your own body's norm is when you're using the fitness tracker. So that way you'll kind of know when you're in your range for what you want to do as far as, you know, cardio wise, or if you're trying to get into some sort of fat burning zone. Use it as a gauge to see what an average amount of activity is for you for any given day, so that if you kind of fall below your average, you know you need to get moving. And then I also say use it to make sure that you know what your average calorie burn is for a day. And again, that is not scientific, but it will kind of help you psychologically and emotionally know that you are doing the right things with your physical fitness, so that you can marry that with your nutritional plan, and a good nutritional plan and a good workout plan together will get you the results that you're looking for with your health and fitness goals. If you have any questions about any fitness trackers, I am a huge FitBit fan, and it's not even so much for what it does, but for what the company is. They have an amazing customer service department, and anytime I've had any issues with any Fitbit that I have purchased, they have replaced them for me hassle-free. So I usually get double the wear out of one purchase of a Fitbit. So I am a diehard Fitbit fan, and have just kind of made the decision that I'm not going to go with an Apple Watch, that I'm going to just upgrade to the new, I think it's called the Blaze Fitbit, and solely just for the customer service and the warranty issues that, or the warranty program that they have. So I'm a diehard Fitbit fan. Whatever fitness tracker that you're using, just get to know it and get to know your body and get to know how your body works with it, and that will help you kind of get, like I said, a window or a range of what you need to do to get to yourself to the fitness goals and the health goals that you're looking for. Definitely feel free to leave some messages for me below, or you can private message me. I will answer any questions you have about fitness trackers. I've been using a Fitbit since they came out, and before that I was using the old chest heart rate monitor, which was a pain in the butt. You kind of had to wear it around all day, and it was horrible. So I've used a heart rate monitor for several years to kind of track my fitness, and I absolutely love them, and I swear by them. And if you have any questions about nutrition, you can always feel free to message me as well. I will help you there as well. And I always have ongoing 21-day fitness and nutrition groups going. So if you're interested in joining a group where you can get some personalized help with your nutrition, definitely feel free to reach out to me, and I will get you plugged into a program that will best suit your needs. Thanks so much for joining me tonight, you guys. Make sure that you've hit the like button there on my page, and also hit the live notifications, or turn the notifications on, so that when I do go live, you'll be notified and you'll be able to jump in with me from the beginning. As always, I appreciate you guys joining me tonight, and if you're catching this in the recording, I appreciate you as well. Thanks so much for stopping by. Always feel free to shoot me a message and let me know that you've been here so that I can thank you.